people, good afternoon. I haven't talked to you in forever. It is November 12th. Last time I saw you was probably at the game Saturday night. It was, I don't know if I mentioned anything about it, it was crazy. I have never seen people that passionate about something. It was so loud that I had to wear to put my earplugs on. The ground was shaking, guys. I even saw a tiger, which I don't think that was a good idea, but it was amazing. That stadium is huge. We were really high and I felt like I could fly. And they had a flyover. Oh my god, the flyover was amazing. It was great. It's crazy to think that those players are, you know, so young. The before, it was crazy too. So many people just playing games, drinking, and just so much going on. I am staying at High Hostel. I think there's only 2 hostels in New Orleans. This one is honestly really cool. Staff is super friendly. It is very clean. I'm sleeping well, so it's also great. They even have like free breakfast, I believe. Danny dropped me off at my hostel, which I am staying at for a couple of days because he was back to work on Sunday. So I've been doing my own stuff for the last couple of days, but we still hang out, you know, after his work in the late afternoons, which is fun. So on Sunday was my birthday. This time I was far away. We have a 7-hour time difference with France, but the beauty of technology enabled us to be all together with my parents being somewhere in France, my brother being somewhere in Europe, and me being somewhere in the States. We could for a good hour just talk together and celebrate the birthday, so it was really, really great and very meaningful to me. So I started the day quite well. They were waiting for me. It was 6:30 for me, but it was already the middle of the afternoon for them. After that, I left the hostel and I walked along Canal Street. It was already quite loud and busy, a lot of music. I don't think the music ever stopped in the streets, honestly. It was interesting. It was cloudy and rainy, I believe. Then I went to my current favorite place for breakfast. It's a chain. You guys might not agree with that, but I love this place. IHOP. Since the first time we went there in Connecticut, I loved it. I loved the food. I loved especially the coffee, which I'm very picky about my coffee. And IHOP seems to be the only place where I actually really like it. And just the vibe, the atmosphere in general, I've always really enjoyed it. So there was one right across the street, you know, from my hostel. So I was like, oh yeah, that could be nice. I'm gonna get pancakes for my birthday. So that's what I did. And the waitress was really nice. She wished me a happy birthday a couple of times. I mentioned it because I wanted to know if I could get the 3 free pancakes, but you have to be registered like a month prior to your actual birthday. So I couldn't get them, but I mean, it's fine. It's not really that expensive, you know. It was a lovely time with myself, by myself, and I was just happy to be eating food that I loved the day of my birthday. Then when I got out of the IHOP restaurant, it was raining, it was pouring, so I just went back to my hostel, to my room, and I remember I was alternating between working a bit and watching Gilmore Girls. I was really into Gilmore Girls back then. I finished watching it, but it was fun. For the rest of the day I did that, and then Danny came and picked me up for a birthday dinner later that evening.
City Park.
The City Park.
On FrenchTastic's birthday.
Yay, November 10th.
That's right.
Yeah.
Your birthday at Ralph's in the Park.
Yes, look at that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Very grateful to Danny for spending time with me on my birthday and for taking me out to dinner. It was lovely. It was a marvelous time. I kept laughing. The food was amazing and the weather was so sweet. The weather was just so warm. I remember his warmth reached me, and yeah, it was a lovely time and I really enjoyed it. And you know, being so far away on my birthday from my family, and being in a hostel where there's just so many people that you don't know, I did feel lonely for sure. So this birthday dinner with Danny was very much welcomed. Next day was Monday. I kept exploring the streets around my hostel. I walked the riverfront park and there's an aquarium and I wanted to go, but when I saw the prices, I turned around and left. It would be for the time, I think it was more than 40 bucks and I was just not feeling like putting 40 bucks for an aquarium at that moment. I went down Bourbon Street because at some point I needed to go down that street. There is the Hard Rock Cafe on that street. I went into it. The area where you can get gifts and all was pretty small and not very well, like not that many things, which I was disappointed about. The restaurant was closed, but I still wanted to see the instruments and all that, you know, all the materials they have inside. So I asked one of the waitress that was already here, who was already there, and she told me, I don't think you can because the restaurant is not open. So I was like, oh, please, I'll be quick. I just want to look around and take pictures. I won't do anything else, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, all right, I'm just gonna go ask my manager. The manager came and she was like, oh yeah, sure, just look around, take your time. So I took my time and went to every piece of instrument or cloth they had and, you know, read the little, they have a square with like information about what kind of piece or instrument they have and the artist or group, and I just took my time. And because it's so precious, you know, and yeah, I just walked around and all that. And at some point, it's a weirdly shaped restaurant, but there's a back like room where you can actually see the kitchen. And I was in that room when suddenly Rush started playing, and I was so happy. And they had a TV, and their music video started playing at the same time. And I was just like, oh my God, such great timing, you know, like excellent timing. And I was really happy and that kind of made my day. For lunch that day, for lunch that Monday, I met up with Isabelle. Lovely Isabelle that you might remember. I mentioned her a couple of times and I actually interviewed her a couple of years ago. Isabelle is a Belgian woman. She went something like 40 years ago to Louisiana, settled down to teach French. She's now retired. As soon as I knew I would be going to Louisiana, I remember emailing her and asking her, could we meet up? And we did for lunch. It was a really, really nice lunch at a vegan place. And I had the sweetest time with her. She is such a lovely woman and it was just really pleasant time and lunch. But she had to leave at like 2:30 p.m. So for the rest of the afternoon, I thought it was time for me to take the trolley, the streetcar, which it was a whole story. I wanted to go to the City Park Conservancy, I think you say. For that, you can either walk for a long time or take the streetcar, which will bring you right next to it. So that was my goal. I think it's written $150 or $125 on Google, but it's like $150. I'm gonna check that, but I remember I got the price wrong. Fortunately, I did not have to pay because the machine was not working. And you gotta be careful because on the same line, a couple of different streetcars are gonna pass. Like you gotta look at the numbers because they don't have the same end. So just make sure about that. But as I was waiting for the streetcar, you know, Canal Street, if you go there, I think I mentioned it, it's a lot of tourists, a lot of drunk people and drug addicts around, a lot of homeless. Definitely if you go to New Orleans, check it out. It's pretty, there's a lot of stores and all that, but make sure to go out of there too because it would be a waste to just go there for sure. But as I was waiting midday for the streetcar, there's a drunk on the curve right in front of me, like a couple of meters away, feet away. And this guy ended up getting in one of the trolley before me, ended up getting super violent with the driver. The police had to come and arrest him. And then when it was time for my trolley, right before that, there was a guy completely, I don't know what he was on, but he was in another world, and it just came right next to me and looked at me like that. He was very, very close to my face. And you know, the problem with those people when they act like this toward me is it triggers my anger and violence, and I just want to be violent with those people when I shouldn't first, and then it would be a waste, and then violence is not the solution for sure. But it's just, you know, they're just in their world, and I don't know what the guy was. Look, I mean, he was looking at my face like that, very, very close. It was very uncomfortable, you know, like absolutely no space. But yeah, I kept looking at him like, better move, man, or I'm just gonna hit you. And I think at some point he just had this urge of taking whatever he was on and looked for something in his socks, whatever. And then the trolley came, so I was out of this situation. But it's just people acting like that around me or toward me, and you know, they're usually not even aware of what they're doing, but it gives me a really good excuse to throw a punch when I shouldn't. And like I said, it would be just a waste, and don't use violence. But I guess I'm just at that part of my life where I have absolutely no patience for drunks or drug addicts and such, and I don't want them in my world, and I don't want to see that, and I absolutely don't want to have anything to do with them and such. It was a good experience in a way that it made me work on my patience. Yeah, I shouldn't even touch them because, well, never know what I can get out of that. Fortunately, I'm rarely around those people. Anyway, I went on the trolley and I arrived at the city park.